Red Dog, can you hear me and see me, brother?
Woof woof. Good morning. I can hear you.
You're
I
not
can see
red,
you.
man.
No,
I'm
well,
redder than you are.
if I get out in the sun, I turn red for sure.
I I see. So the question I got for you written down, and then we'll get into comms because I know you got a class and stuff coming up. House
hmm
Bill HR 6090. I want to get your thoughts on it.
I honestly am not that familiar with it. I've heard a little bit, but I don't know enough to give an opinion on it. To be honest, I'm sorry about that.
Oh no, that's fine. It's the House
Tell me
bill
more.
where they are trying to get rid of Jewish hate speech, which
Okay.
sounds great on the surface, but at that point, there's going to be parts of the Bible that basically you're not going to be able to talk about without being fined. Part
Okay.
of the actual gospel.
Well, anything that restricts speech to anybody restricts speech to all of us, if you think about it, because we have the First Amendment, we have the right to protest, we have the right to give our opinions. People don't have to agree with it, that's fine. But, right now we've got the right to do it. So it's important to keep those rights. And I don't want to see them taken away. That's kind of like people talk about a civil war. People don't realize how bad that would be. We need to
Yeah.
try and we need to try and reunite the sides that are so split, so divided right now. I don't know how we're going to do it. I don't know if it can be done, but if our country falls, it'll fall because we split and we just don't have enough resources on either side to, maintain each side as we knew it in the past. I don't think it'll ever come back. So that's kind of what I feel. I had a thought about what you were talking about earlier, or what Papa's Farm was talking about
Mhm.
who's behind all this. Well, looking back, okay, think about 9/11. Right after 9/11, everybody flew their flags, everybody was happy, united, and all that stuff. But they soon came out with the Patriot Act, and that started monitoring our communications. Most likely computers monitoring it, looking for code words. You were talking about earlier, if you throw out somebody's name, you're going to get flagged. That's because a computer picked it up and then told somebody to go check out what you're saying. So I kind of think that this started under uh, Bush. And from there, sides changed. We had Republicans, we had Democrats, we had back and forth. And to be honest, I don't think that makes much difference. I think there is an agenda to push us towards global government controlling us. And I don't
Yeah.
like that. And I think it started under Bush. Now, what's going on right now, Obama is, in my opinion, still in charge. This is third
And he's
term
a puppet
Obama.
master. He's
Yeah,
pulling the strings.
this is his third term. And he made it quite clear that he wants to fundamentally change America to his fundamentals, not to ours, to his. And I really am of the opinion now that politicians on both sides are really only in it to make money for themselves and their families. They don't care about us. We're just a tax farm. We're just the labor pool.
Agree with that.
And I it scares me because they talk about the 2030 agenda. I guess they're going to try and depopulate a lot of the earth. Um, how are they going to do that? Pandemics, plandemics, I call them. Um, Other ways, starve you out. Inflation, where you just can't afford to buy the food that you need to support your family. It's either buy your food, pay your bills, or pay your medical bills if you have them. And those type of decisions are hard, and it's going to kill people. It is going to kill people. If we ever, God forbid, get to a grid down situation, whether it's intentional, a hacking attempt, an EMP, or even a solar, like a Carrington event, if the grid goes down, people are going to die because we don't have food preservation like we had, before we had all the electricity and refrigerators and everything. Um, it's going to be tough. supply chains are already under strain, and if we don't get it turned around, more and more people are going to be homeless. They're already veterans are out on the street because they want to make room for illegals. I don't agree with that as a veteran.
Oh,
That
no.
that
No.
it's like a burr under my saddle, if you know what I mean. But I don't agree with that. I'd love it if we could go back to the America we used to know, but I seriously doubt that we're ever going back. The good old days, even as bad as a lot of them were still good old days. And what's sad is right now, as bad as it is, that's going to be the good old days when it gets worse. So prep as you can, get ready. I tell people, I find it, don't tread on me. That's my coffee cup. Um,
So speaking
but
of collapse,
okay,
because that's what it's sounding like. We're talking about collapse at this point, collapse of the grid,
yes, sir.
collapse of society. You got a radio class coming up where you're gonna
Yeah,
be teaching people radio. What does somebody who's brand new to that need to know?
okay, thank you. Let me explain this. It's called a field day exercise, and what that is, ham radio operators around the world. This is everywhere, not just the United States. Everywhere, ham radio operators on the weekend. This year, it's June 22nd, 23rd, I believe. Um, will, for a 24-hour period, set up what I call a guerrilla radio station, meaning it's off the grid, it's not plugged in, powering the radios and all those things. We go out to a remote area, we set up remote antennas, we set up our radios and power them with 12-volt deep cycle batteries, solar power, or a generator. So powered under alternate energy ways. And what we do is it's a contest for ham radio operators. You make as many contacts on the radio as you can in a 24-hour period. And all you do is give your call sign, your name, and your location, and a signal report. Like you like your 5x5s in the morning. I always say
Yeah,
Lima Charlie for
yeah.
loud and clear. But it's that type of thing, and that's it. That's a contact, and then you move on to the next one, try to make another and another and another. These contacts are coming to your radio. I'm using HF radio. These are long range contacts from other continents. I may hear Asia,
Awesome.
Europe, South America, the Caribbean. I've heard all kinds of different places, and it's fun making these contacts. And to me, I'm not really interested in how many I make. My interest is, can I make? Because
Mm.
if the grid goes down, this is going to be how people communicate information back and forth. And if you're not a ham, I don't want to argue the ham license. I know people hate, getting on a list, but honestly, folks, we're all on many, many lists already. Just being on this chat today, you're on a list. So don't worry about ham radio. The worst thing that could happen, like they did in World War II, is they registered hams and they checked up on them because they wanted to make sure, one, you weren't communicating with an enemy power, and giving information and intel to them, and two, if in an emergency everything did go down, they registered you so that they had you as a resource if needed to help in our effort, the United States effort in this case. So those are two things. Yeah, I'm registered. We call it Aries and
What's
racing.
involved what's involved in getting a ham license?
It's not that hard. There's three levels. You've got the entry level as technician, and that gives you access to use like the HT radios, like a Baofeng, or 2 meters, 70 centimeter. You can get on a little bit of HF radio, 6 meter, and I think 10 meter. There's like 4 bands you can use. So the technician class is what you need to operate those Baofengs that everybody has. Okay, everybody buys them. I got a box right here with 6 of them in it that I'm planning on having for part of our shit hit the fan plans here, that if people are here, I can hand them a handy talk. We're not going to worry about licenses after that. That's the main argue. But I can hand somebody a handy talk and they can go out on patrol or man a station, like a listening operating LPOP station. In the military, we use those terms. It's just a place to go listen and hear if somebody's coming towards your land. You'll hear
Mm.
cars on gravel, you'll hear people talking, that kind of stuff. And then you report back to the main area, and that gives us a heads up. So that's
Any worry about being triangulated on
well, yeah, that's
once the
always a
grid's
worry.
down?
It is, and we make a game out of it. It's called fox hunting, and it's called find the hidden transmitter. And one of the ham clubs I used to belong to did that every month. We'd take turns. The first person that found the fox became the fox the next month, and you'd go hide somewhere. We had people hide in dumpsters with a handy talk radio and just give a little beep, and everybody's trying to come in on it, and they've got tracking radios or antennas, and it's like tracking the lion that's collared out in the jungle that they're looking for. And you try and find this hidden transmitter. So yeah, it's very doable. They can find you if you transmit. If you just receive and listen, you're good. They're not going to find it. And but what we're going to do for field day, um, we're going to set up a temporary mast, antenna mast, and run a what's called a G5RV. It's a wire antenna. It's two pieces of wire and a piece of plastic ladder line, kind of like you used to see on the old TVs with rabbit ears many moons ago. If you're old enough to remember that,
Oh,
but
yeah, the CRT, I miss those, man.
yeah, uh, but we're going to set up that station with an HF radio and the deep cycle battery powering it and solar panels keeping it charged up and everything at camp. But we're going to have fun with it. Like I said, I'm not really interested in how many contacts I can make. I would like to hit 2 or 3 different continents and make several contacts, and I'll have a notebook log of it. I'll probably have 20, 30 contacts. But then part of what we're going to do is try and teach more about radio communications to people. And the way we're going to do that is listen, watch, help set the antenna up, help be a part of it. But I can put you on the radio under what's called third party rule, where you're operating under my license with me standing there monitoring you and let you try and make contacts. So that's kind of cool. And I posted earlier, if you remember the movie We Were Soldiers,
Mhm.
Mel Gibson was training in
Yep.
the United States. I think it was either at Fort Bragg or Fort Benning. I can't remember which.
Sam Elliott, I think too, right?
Yeah, he was. He was first sergeant. Anyway, they they were out training, and all of a sudden their radios started picking up um, long range radio contacts from Vietnam. It was the French that were over there as they were getting attacked by the Vietnamese, and you heard the radio operator saying, "We're getting ready to get overrun. Help, help, whatever," or something like that. And then you hear the Vietnamese come in, and you hear them talking where they've taken out the French soldiers. Well, that's exactly what HF radio is. It's long range communications, and it bounces off the atmosphere and the surface of the earth, and that's how it gets around the earth to the other side, and you're able to hear that. In CB radio they call it skip. Same thing, just different frequencies. Okay, and so what we're going to do is set that up and see what we can make. But we're also going to do some other stuff. um, this is 11 gauge wire. We're going to use this to make what's called a jungle antenna, and with a couple of things. Oh, I don't have them here right now. A thing called a banana plug and a coax cable and an adapter that makes the coax cable able to screw onto your HT radio. You'll be able with these jungle antennas to greatly increase the range of your HT radios. Where just with the HT radio and the antenna that came with it, you're lucky. Like, I'm in a wooded area, heavy wooded and hills and stuff. You're lucky if you can talk radio to radio, called simplex, just a few miles. It's kind of like CB. It's longer than CB, longer than FRS, GMRS, and all the other radios that you might find. Ham radio does punch through further. But with the jungle antenna, you can hoist that up in a tree with a piece of paracord or string or whatever, as high as you've got coax to get it up there and attached to your radio. You're going to greatly increase your range. So one of the things we're going to do for fun is let everybody build their own jungle antenna and, improve their radios, whether they're licensed or not. This is something you can roll up and stick in your pack, your bug out bag, and have it next to your HT radio. And if when you need it, it's there and will help you. And that's part of what I'm doing.
And it's
Other than
not
that,
not very heavy, not taking up
no,
a lot of room in your pack.
yeah, it's real light. It's real light. And then other than that, we're gonna have fun at camp. We'll have a campfire going. We'll have people there. I'm planning on cooking some of my venison smash burgers. For those that have seen a recent video I made, I just did make some about 2 or 3 nights ago. But I'm going to make some for the people that come, um, and they can camp or they can just come for a visit. If you're not into camping, there are hotel motels close enough that you could come for a day visit, and not have to camp out. But you're welcome to camp. Bring your tents, bring your hammocks. I got lots of trees, and have fun. Just hang out, or just hang out on a chair around camp. Uh, Field day. It's not uncommon to see somebody snoozing in a chair because they were on the radio for 4 or 5 hours, and it's now 3 in the morning, and the contest is still going for 24 hours. But we do what we want to do and then chill out for a while. Bring your own drinks, that kind of stuff. But I put in my information when I was posting those earlier. You can contact me at my Gmail address. It's reddogsretreat@gmail.com. Um, if you have questions and answer, there, and I can give you details on the location and things. But basically, I'm located in northeastern Oklahoma, west of Tulsa, about 20, 25 miles, near Keystone Lake. So there's a lake, a recreational lake nearby. Uh, People that like to fish and stuff go there and they catch stripers and catfish and crappie and bass and all kinds of stuff. Um, but we're close enough to the lake that if you wanted to stay in a state park there, there's one. There's also a private park called Jellystone Park. Old Yogi Bear reference, but they've got a
Yeah.
Jellystone Park here, so it's a cool area with options. So if you're not into camping, you don't have to, but you're certainly welcome. And this is a 100% free event. Other than, and I'll give the ones that are coming that want to build the jungle
Y'all
antennas.
hear that, you cheapskates on YouTube? It's free.
Yeah,
It's
it's
free.
free. Yeah, and this is my private campsite. Red Dogs Retreat is out in my backyard. I've got
Um,
10 acres. My backyard's huge. So I've got a 100-yard rifle range right next to it. I've got the camp set up, a camp kitchen, the campfire set up. There's plenty of room for your tents and hammocks and stuff to come join us. And I'd love to have more people join. I'm
you
not
you got
trying
a
to.
question. You got a
Oh,
question. Kelly
okay.
and Rambo wanna know if you have any ranges close by. Yeah, he just
Yeah, right on
sorry,
camp,
I didn't catch
right
that in
at
time,
camp.
yeah.
And it's a 100-yard range with some steel gong targets. And I also have the ability to staple up paper targets if you want to like sight in a rifle or scope or something, and that kind of stuff. And I've got it measured out so you can shoot up close with pistols at 7 yards, 25 yards, 50 yards, 75 yards, and 100 yards. So you can get a little bit of exercise in and exercise your freedom. And it's nice having it. I go out there all the time and shoot, and have friends that come shoot. So I'm not trying to push anything on anybody. This is if you're interested and if you're close enough and able to come and want to come, you're more than welcome. That's what it's all about. I'm trying to help teach people a little bit about radio communications, maybe see if they get the bug a little bit, and then yeah, I'll help you get your license. I'll help you by pointing you in the right direction of some study guides that you can get. There's some books you can order or check them out at the library. And these books have the exact questions that is on the exams, the exact answers, and the book explains why the exact answers are the exact answers. So you've got references. If you buy the book, which is what I did and always recommend, you can highlight the correct answer so you can go back and just study. If you just want to memorize the answers and do enough to pass your test, it's not that hard. 8-year-old kids are passing ham radio licenses. So don't be scared. You don't have to know Morse code anymore. That's not a requirement. You don't have to be a total radio geek where you know what ohms and volts and resistors and capacitors and all these different things do. You know, you don't have to build a ham radio. Um, there's many on the market. I'm not going to push any sources or anything, but you can find them. Excuse me. And like I said, many people already have Baofangs. So, you know, that first technician's license is what you need to be able to legally operate those radios. And the good point about being legal is you can start operating now, because ham radio is not necessarily plug and play. It's difficult to get things right sometimes because there's interference from other electronic devices, other radios. Um, Antennas are funny sometimes. A good antenna makes a cheap radio a lot better than a great radio with a cheap antenna. I'll say that. And that's one of the reasons we're making the jungle antennas, to improve the radios that we have. Not saying Baofangs are cheap, but they are. But they do the job. They are. Okay, so a lot of people can afford them. I think my six pack that I bought was less than $100. So, or
Wow.
150 bucks, something like it. It wasn't that much. That's why I went ahead and bought a six pack, and it's got a six radio gang charger in it, and came with the programming cable. I'll get this out in a minute. Programming cable that you need to program like your favorite frequencies and offsets, different things that you'll learn as a ham radio operator that you need to know to be able to operate your radio now during good times, so you'll know what to do when it's not good times and how efficient you can be. If you don't know anything about them and just take it out of the box and expect to be able to talk to people everywhere and those things, you're probably not going to be successful. Might be. Got a frog in my throat. Let me get a sip of coffee here.
You're fine. You got a couple of questions in chat anyway.
Okay. Bring 'em.
Um, can you confirm if having a ham license gives the FAA other agencies access to your home at any time?
I have heard that. That goes into what I was talking about earlier. If you register your radios with clubs like RACES and ARIES, which are emergency services type of thing, that's saying that, yes, I have a radio with this capability, that they have you on a list. I've been a ham for multiple years. I think around 2000. Uh, I started after the 1999 May 3rd tornado outbreak in Oklahoma, that I wanted to be able to communicate. I became a storm spotter for the National Weather Service, and then found out that we can communicate directly by radio to the National Weather Service office and give our weather reports. So to do that, you've got to be a ham radio operator. So that's what got me into it. And I further became a storm chaser for a TV station, did that for 18 years. And then I retired a couple of years ago when FJB came in office and gas got crazy, and it just wasn't worth it anymore. There's still other people doing it, friends of mine, a couple of people that are members of what I call Red Dogs Retreat, are ham operators, and they may or may not come to field day here, but they're welcome. I hope they do, and y'all can meet them and stuff. Yeah, but again, like I said, the beginning level is technician license. Then the next level is called a general license, and that gives you access to many HF radio things. How about going to exactly,
Bernard's asking
exactly
about the general license.
right?
How
It's
do you feel about it?
well, I've got mine, and that's why I'm able to talk with my HF radio and make worldwide communications, and it's
Mhm.
fun. Do I get it out all the time? No, no. I'm kind of a closet ham. I like to do it during weather events, and I like to do it during field day to keep my skills up a little bit. Am I an expert? Oh, heck no. And speaking of expert, expert is the third level, which gives you access to all bands and frequencies of ham radio. So technician is a start out. It keeps you low level, mostly local communications, a little tiny bit of HF. Then general gives you HF plus all the earlier stuff, and then extra gives you everything. Yeah, what?
Florida man is asking how to find a local ham group if you can't find one doing a Google search.
Well,
What's the best way?
that's what I recommend. Just put in a Google search or whatever search engine you like. Put in Ham Radio Club and your general location, the closest town to you, and you'll probably find one. If not, you can go to ARRL.com, which is American Radio Relay League. They're kind of the governmental agency club or whatever. They control all of that for the FCC. And yeah, you are under FCC control because it's a radio, and again, licensed is necessary. But ARRL.com should be able to help you find a ham club close to you if you can't find one during a local search. Then what I recommend, find out when that club meets, when and where, and go to it and introduce yourself. Say, hey, I'm a new guy. I'm not a ham radio guy. I want to learn a little bit. Just introduce yourself. Ask, excuse me, ask if there's anybody that will Elmer you, like Elmer Fudd. Elmers are ham radio operators that are willing to help teach people more about ham radio. So I guess I'm an Elmer if you think about it, because I'm doing field day and I have helped people get their study books and help them exam. For a while, I was actually a volunteer examiner. I'm not anymore. I let that expire, but it takes 3 VEs to give a ham radio um, examination. So, for instance, if we had 3 Beaverines that were ham radio operators and got their VE license, which is you just apply for it after you have your ham license, um, we could give an exam to a group of Beaverines. I've done that in other prepper things that I've done in the past, but um, we were able to help others get their license. Not everybody will pass the first time. It's all right. You can take it as many times as you want. Okay. And the test, there's only 4 different um, different sheets for each level. Like if you're taking your tech license, you're going to get one of the 4 different types with 35 questions. They're A, B, C, D, multiple choice questions, all printed out, and they're the exact same questions that were in the back of the study books that you've been studying with. So it's not that hard to pass. It's really not. If you put half an effort into it, you can do it. I swear, you can do it. Just get the current book because they do upgrade now and then, so you'll have the fresh questions and stuff. And I recommend buying the books because they are terrific study guides and reference guides for you after your license and you're having troubles trying to figure out what's going on. Go back to your book. Just go, okay, let me look. Oh, I forgot about that. Okay, and then it'll refresh your mind. So yeah, it's not that hard. I know people argue, I don't want to be on a list. I don't want a license. After the shit hits the fan, we can use the radios anyway, and or during an emergency, which is true. But are you going to know how? Is my point. You may or may not be able to just grab a mic and start talking. It's not CB. Okay, I had CBs up in the 70s and 80s, and all that bragger, all that stuff. You don't talk like that on ham radio, and if you do, um, it's kind of like making backwoods mad. Somebody's going to come back. So anyway, it's like I said, it's not that hard. And my YouTube channel, I will make some videos and add them to my channel, which I'm not trying to be an influencer. I'm not trying to really grow my channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly some prepper stuff, camping stuff, a little bit of storm chasing stuff. Well, there's a few videos of tornadoes and stuff if you're into that. And then the last one I made was cooking the smash burgers the other night. But I'm going to start making more videos. And my YouTube channel, if you're interested, again, I'm not pushing it.
Red Dog's Retreat, right?
No, Red Dog 9884. Now, my YouTube channel is Red Dog's Retreat
Yeah.
for the retreat, and then I've got a regular Red Dog channel, and then I've got another one, Red Dog, which was my storm chasing channel. That since I've retired, I've really not been doing a lot there. But Again, I'm not trying to become an influencer on YouTube. I'm not trying to grow anything and start making an income off my videos. But I got a lot of skills that I'd like to pass on before this old man dies. You know what I mean? So if I can help people, that's where I'm coming from. That's what Red Dogs Retreat is about.
Do you
Um,
have a favorite AC/DC song?
all of them. I like
All
ACDC.
of them.
Yeah. Anyway, I was listening to that earlier today, to be honest. So yeah, if you guys are interested, you're welcome to join. You know, like I said, email me, reddogsretreat@gmail.com, cheap emails. But I will answer questions there. And if you're interested in coming, I can give you directions, our location, that kind of stuff. Again, 100% free. I know Paradise Acres is trying to come. Prepping artists say they're maybe interested in coming.
That's
I would
awesome.
love.
You'll have to go live. You'll have to go live when you do this if
Oh,
you're able to.
I'll try. I'm not really a liver. I don't do that, but I think you have to have so many followers on YouTube before you can go live, don't you?
I don't remember.
I
I have
think
no
you do, but
idea.
I don't have many. I think I looked earlier today because I was verifying the 9884 number after Red Dog. I think I've got like 39 uh, followers, which, like I said, I don't care. I'm not trying to do anything big, so
Robin
that's
says she's coming.
very good. I hope so. I hope so. Oh, UPS is here. Brown is here.
Uh-oh. Well, I'll let
That's
you
me.
go, brother. I appreciate it very much, and
All
I
right.
will link your channel
Thank you,
down
sir.
below this video. I'll cut it out and drop it on the main channel.
All right. Stay strong, guys. Let them don't tread on me.
Appreciate it.
Spilled coffee on
Yes,
me.
sir.
Anyway, later, guys. Woof woof.